Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to make this really cute chick plushie. It's beginner friendly, but if there are some stitches that you need some help with, please refer to my Crochet 101 video that I will link in the description. For supplies, we will need this Bernat blanket yarn in yellow, and as you can see, it's in super bulky size 6. Actually, as you can see, the color is actually Buttercup, and I have it linked in the description below as well. And then you need a 6.5mm crochet hook, a darning needle, and some 16mm safety eyes, and then some polyester stuffing, and then scissors. And as I said, all these supplies will be linked down below. Okay, so to start, you will need to make a magic circle or a magic ring. So hold the yarn like so, twist your left hand, and then your right two fingers need to grab this yarn, pull it until you make two different loops, or two different holes essentially. The one at the top and then the one at the bottom. Let's try to do this again. So hold the yarn like so, twist, your right two fingers will pull this yarn until you create another loop so that you have two loops total. 1 and 2. You insert your crochet hook onto the top one, making sure the two holes don't close. Chain 1, so it's yarn over, pull through, and then flip the circle like so. And then inside this, you're going to make 6 single crochets. So to do a single crochet, you basically just insert your hook through the hole, yarn over, and then yarn over again and pull through. Like I said, if you need help on any basic stitches, then please refer to my Crochet 101 video. So here I'm just pulling the tail so that the circle cinch is closed. And then next what I'm going to do is look for the very first single crochet that I made, which is right here. It could be difficult to see, but it's going to be the first V that you see. I insert my hook, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch, which is just yarn over, pull through both of the loops, and then chain 1. And I do this at the end of every single row that I do. For the next row, I'm going to do an increase on every single stitch. An increase means that you just put 2 single crochets into the exact same stitch. So as you can see, I'm doing my second stitch now, and I'm putting 2 single crochets in it. On the next one, you put another 2. So at the end of this row, you should have 12 single crochets overall because you began with 6 single crochets in the first round. And then after you do the 12 single crochets, you're going to do the same thing, which is just slip stitch to the first single crochet you made and then chain 1. Now for the third row, we're going to repetitively do 1 single crochet and then an increase. So I just did 1 single crochet, I move on to the next stitch, and then I'm going to do an increase there, which is just 2 single crochets in that same stitch. And again, repeat the pattern, 1 single crochet on the next stitch, and on the next stitch I'll do an increase. And then you're just going to repeat this whole thing until you have 18 stitches overall in this row. It should be exactly 18 stitches. And then same thing afterwards, you just do a slip stitch onto the first single crochet you made, and then a chain 1. Okay, now 4th row is done. Let's move on to the 5th row. And for this one, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase. So here we're making our first single crochet, and then our second single crochet, and then on the next stitch we'll do an increase. We'll repeat this pattern again, single crochet on the next one, and then 2 single crochets in the next one. So we'll repeat this pattern until the end of the row, and there should be 24 stitches overall, and then just do the slip stitch and chain 1 to finish the row. Okay, now for the 6th row, we're first going to do an increase on the first stitch right here, and then we're going to do 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, one after the other. After that, we're going to do an increase again on the next stitch. And then do 3 more single crochets, and then just repeat this pattern until you have 30 stitches overall in this row, and then end with the slip stitch and chain 1. Okay, so your work should now be looking like this. It should curve a little bit. Now for this next row, we're just going to go all around, just 1 single crochet in each stitch. So that should total to 30 stitches, just like the previous row. And then end with a slip stitch and chain 1. Okay, after this row, you're going to do the exact same thing again, but 3 more times. Once that's done, this is how it should look like. And now we're going to attach the eyes. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So between the 6th and 7th row, you're going to take one of the eyes, insert it, and remember to put the backing, the safety backing. And then the second eye, you just put it around 6 stitches away from the first eye, like so. And then put the safety backing as well. Okay, now continuing, we're going to do 4 single crochets. Just in each stitch, make a single crochet. 3, 4, and then the next one will be an increase. So 2 single crochets in that one stitch. Again, 4 single crochets, one after another, and then an increase. And then you're just going to repeat this pattern until the end of the row. And don't forget the slip stitch and chain 1. Next, we're going to do a row with 1 single crochet for each stitch all around, and we're going to do that for 3 rows. So that's 36 stitches all around, and just repeat it for 3 rows. And make sure you do a slip stitch and chain 1 after each row. Okay, so starting now, we're going to be decreasing to start to close the plushie. So for this row, we're going to do 4 single crochets and then a decrease. So first we'll do our 4 just normal single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is how we do a decrease. So you're going to take these 2 and make it into 1 stitch. So first you find the front loop of the first stitch, like so, just the first loop, and get the other front loop of the stitch next to it. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. You're going to be left with 2. And then yarn over, pull through the 2 remaining. Next, we're just going to do the 4 single crochet again, and then I'll teach you how to do the decrease one more time. Okay, to do the decrease again, you're going to take the front loop of the stitch, the next stitch, like so, just the front loop, and then look for the front loop of the second stitch. It could be difficult to find, but you'll know once you have it. There you go. And then yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. So you're going to repeat this pattern, just the 4 single crochet and decrease until you get to the end, and you should have 30 stitches overall left, and then do the slip stitch and chain 1 to close the row. For the next row, we're going to do 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So as you can tell by how we've been going so far, it was 4 single crochet and decrease earlier, and now we're going to do 3 single crochet and decrease, and then the next row will be 2 single crochet and decrease until we get to the point where we're just decreasing the whole time. So that's usually the pattern for making plushies that you want to start to close up. So yeah, just do the 3 single crochets and decrease for this row, and you should end with 24 stitches overall, and then just do the slip stitch and chain 1. For this next row, like you probably have guessed, we're gonna do 2 single crochets and then a decrease. And at the end of this row, you should have 18 stitches overall. Okay, so I just finished that row. I'm gonna take my hook out because now we have to start stuffing the plushie. So the hole is getting smaller, so you have to gradually stuff it so that you can still fit your hand through and adjust the stuffing around the body. Okay, so I've evenly stuffed this plushie about 90% through, and we're going to continue. So for this next row, we're going to do 1 single crochet and decrease. And we're going to continue this pattern throughout the row like usual, and you should end with 12 stitches overall. Keep in mind that it's going to get a lot harder to crochet because the plushie is now stuffed, and it'll be difficult for you to, you know, like find where your hands go and to make sure that all your stitches remain tight and even. So it's really important not to make your stitches too loose because the stuffing will come through. So just take it slow and steady and you'll make it around the row. Okay, so once that row is done, I take out my hook again because I want to continue stuffing the plushie. So I just add a little bit more, making sure that the plushie is firm enough to keep its shape. So now we'll have to continue the very last row for the body, and it'll just be to decrease all around. So you'll end with 6 stitches overall, which is actually what we started with. We started with 6 single crochet, and then we're going to be ending with 6 stitches as well. Once you finish the row, you just leave a long tail, cut your yarn, and then pull your crochet hook up, and that should make a knot right there. I still have a little bit of a hole, so I will continue to stuff this plushie just to make sure that there are no empty parts in the body. Once that's done, I take my darning needle and I just thread it with the tail, and then I'm going to be sewing the hole closed. So this is how I do it. I just take my needle and go through 2 stitches like this, like a V, and then I pull, and then I look for the next V like this, and then pull, and then I only do 3 of them because that is basically the 6 stitches altogether. And then you cinch it closed, look for a loop, and then tie a knot like so. And then I just stab the needle back in, go through a different end so that I could hide the tail, and then I cut off the excess yarn. And that's it. So now we're going to move on to the wings. Still using the yellow yarn, we're going to make a slip knot, and this is how I do it. I cross like so, grab, and then pull all the way, and then you have your slip knot. Set it aside, and then take your plushie, and then we're going to go 8 rows down. So 1, this is the top, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I find the 8th row, I turn it to the side, and I go about right here. I'm going to stick my crochet hook in to that stitch like so, and then I grab my slip knot, insert my hook through, just pull it so that it tightens up a little bit, and then pull it through that stitch. Once that's in there, you're going to make 2 chains. So yarn over, pull through, that's 1 chain, yarn over, pull through, that's another chain. Next we'll be making 2 incomplete double crochets. So first you're going to yarn over, look for the next stitch right there, and then you're going to insert your hook like so, yarn over again, pull through that stitch, and then you're going to have 3 loops on your hook like this, and then you're going to yarn over and then pull through only the first 2. So now you have 1 incomplete double crochet. Next you're going to yarn over, and then we're going to make the second one. So you look for the next stitch, you insert your hook like so, yarn over, pull through that stitch, and then you will have 4 loops in your hook. Now you yarn over and pull through only 2. 1 and then 2 like so, and you should have 3 left over. Then we're going to connect all of them, so you're going to yarn over and go through all 3 loops. Now they're all connected, we're going to do 3 chains. So 1, 2, and then 3. Next, we're going to look for the back bump of the very first chain we did. It might be difficult to see, but just look for any bump. I'm holding it right now. The bump right there. You're going to insert your hook through that. And then you're going to make a slip stitch. So just yarn over, pull through that, and then pull through that loop. And lastly, we're going to do 2 chains and slip stitch onto the next stitch over there. Like so. Yarn over, pull through that stitch, and then pull through again on the loop that's on your hook. And then you're just going to chain 1 and then cut the yarn. So now you've made 1 wing, and then you're just going to do the same thing on the other side, but I will walk you through it. So once you've cut the yarn, all you have to do is just poke your hook anywhere on the plushie and then grab the yarn like so, and then pull it so that it can hide inside the plushie, and then just cut off the excess yarn. Okay, so now we're on the other side and we're going to do the exact same thing. So grab your yarn and make another slip knot. I'll do this a little bit quicker. Just hold your yarn like so, twist, grab and pull. Set it aside. Look for row number 8. Okay, once you've found the 8th row, make sure it's even with the other side so that your wings aren't lopsided. Insert your yarn closer to the eye this time. There, so that it's even. And then we're going to take the slip knot, insert your hook, and then pull it through that stitch. And then make 2 chains. 1, 2. And then make your 2 incomplete double crochets. So you're going to yarn over, look for the next stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through that stitch, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over again, go to the next stitch, yarn over, pull through that stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through all 3. And then you're going to do 3 chains. Look for the back bump, insert your hook, and then make a slip stitch, chain 2, and then slip stitch onto the next stitch. And then to end it, just chain 1 and then cut the yarn. And then same as last time, you're going to just hide your tails inside the plushie and cut off the excess yarn. Okay, now for the very last part, which is the beak and the feet details. We're going to take the orange yarn. I'm going to insert the needle here, but then I'm going to be poking out somewhere between the eyes. I will slowly pull through, and then I'm going to go about 2 stitches to the other side, insert my needle, but make it come out through the exact same spot, like so. And then just make sure all your yarn comes out. And there is one part of the beak. Now I'm going to make the lower half of the beak by doing the exact same thing, which is basically to just insert your needle on the other side, and then you're just going to let it come out in a different area altogether. And there you have the 2 parts of the beak. I will just puff it up a little bit, and there you go. You can also make it wider if you'd like. It's all your preference. Then I just cut the excess yarn and stuff it into the plushie. Now for the feet, I just use the eyes to guide me to where I would like to place it. So I want to place it around here, but I won't put my needle in. I'll use my thumb to remember where I want it to come out. I go to a different spot, preferably at the bottom, and then make sure the needle comes out where I placed my thumb, like so. And pull out a lot of yarn because you will need a lot of it for making the feet. And then you gotta decide where it's going to end. I go about right here. So then I insert my needle and make it come out through this point right here where your thumb was. right there, so you can make a clean line like so. And then you're going to do the same thing, insert it onto the stitch next to what you just made like so, and then make it come out through the same point again. And then lastly, we're going to go to the next, stitch over, insert, make it come out through the same point. And that is 1 foot finished. Now going over to the next foot, I'm just inserting the needle back in the same spot, but I'm gonna move horizontally where it aligns with the other eye, like so. And then I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did with the first foot. I will look for where it's gonna end in the same row, and I choose this spot right there. Insert the needle, and then let it come out the same point again, and then go over to the next stitch and let it come out to the same point, and then one more on the next stitch over and let it come out on the same point. Oh, not coming out at the same point, you go find a different spot, and then I'm just going to cut the yarn and hide the ends. I clean up all the messy parts by using a wooden skewer and making sure that I poke all these little ends and any like stuffing that wants to come out into the plushie, and a wooden skewer really helps. And now you've completed your chick plushie. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope it was helpful, and I'll see you all in the next video.